Yo, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another edition of Swear Entertainment. My name is Myron Thomas Sr., and I swear to give you my honest opinion on sports, music, trivia, all kind of fun stuff. Today, I'm going to end the debate between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. I am going to go on record as to say that LeBron James is the greatest player of this era. He is, by far has been the best player. The thing, my problem with calling him the greatest ever is because of his influence on the game of basketball. You know, um, and when I get into it with people that are, I guess, are LeBron fans and stuff, and I said I've never been a fan of LeBron. I've never been a fan of LeBron, even though I'm from Cleveland. We're in Cleveland's gear right now. That I wasn't impressed when they drafted him. Um, Anything like that. I just never, I've never really been a fan of his. I respect his game. I respect his game to the utmost because I love sports, and I respect the great players, you know, But when I compare it to Michael Jordan, is the he kind of fades in a way. One of my main reasons, like I got into a discussion with the guy that I said in Jordan's first 2 years in the league, they Bulls made the playoffs, and I said LeBron's first 2 years in the league, Cavs didn't make the playoffs, and guy was like, no, what you trying to say? What you trying to say? I'm just saying, that's facts. I mean, I'm just LeBron, and it just seemed like to me LeBron fans hate to know the true facts about him, the negative stuff. They want to say, oh, he's going to end. Yes, he's going to have more points than Jordan. Played longer. He has the longevity over Jordan, right? Started earlier, played longer. So yes, his points are going to be more. Rebounds, assists, all that stuff is going to be more. More playoff games played and all that type of stuff. Yes, he will have all that. Yes. But his influence on the game of basketball and the thing that I get with LeBron fans is that, you know, they take it away from the game of basketball. They always say, "Oh, he's a role model. Look what he did, with the school and stuff like that." And that is perfectly fine. What a person chooses to do with their money, their time, and everything outside of the game that they play, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, golf, hockey, whatever. Good for them. Very good for them. No. There's been people that have done less or are less famous than LeBron. They've done a lot more things, but because he's LeBron James, he gets the recognition and all that type of stuff and everything else. But there have been plenty of players that have done the exact same thing and just have not gotten the recognition that they deserve. But when I'm talking about when I state things about the game of basketball, a lot of the LeBron fans, they get mad, they get upset, and I'm just saying, well, there's no reason to get upset, right? Like I heard the guy talking about some, Mike and his father, they were gamblers. When did gambling become illegal? This is not a Pete Rose situation, so what are you talking about gambling for? And he said, I said, no, this is not a Pete Rose situation. You know what I'm saying? He never got convicted of gambling. He never gambled on the game of basketball. He never gambled on the, he never gambled saying, oh, I'm going to score this many points per game. He never. His gambling was cards and golf. So there was nothing illegal about that. There's nothing, like I said, what a person chooses to do with his money. And yeah, he gambled, and everything else. And we have to look at the fact that the man had millions of dollars, and that if he wanted to gamble and maybe blow $10,000 or $20,000, that's nothing. I mean, it's like it's the average person who works every day going to buy scratch-off tickets. That's what it equals to. Nothing wrong with that. Didn't say you have a problem or everything like that and everything else. But that's the dig that they take on Jordan, the reason why he's not the greatest player ever. And I said that has nothing to do with basketball. That has nothing to do with the game of basketball, right? No. The fact that LeBron is, a lot of them consider him a role model and stuff like that, that's well, fine and good. And if that, and that he has a great team around him that has kept him pretty much, controversy free, throughout his whole career. And, beside that little blemish, the thing, the gambling and, stuff like that, only got exposed because at this particular point in time, we were, as a society, we were not used to black athletes having this type of money, gambling with this type of money. It was a shocker, so it was like, oh, he must have a problem, because at this point in time, athletes, Mike was on a whole different level than everybody in sports. Everybody. As far as with endorsements, all that stuff. And here's the fun part. This is before the 96, 97, 97, 98 season, which the only 2 years he actually made money in basketball. This is before then, when he was ranked one of the lowest players in the league. And yeah, he gambling with money like that because you were looking at his basketball contract and not considering the millions upon millions of dollars in Gatorade and Nike and all these other endorsements that Jordan had. And it just, I'm going to take you back to like my whole thing about the game of basketball, that Mike's influence on the game of basketball was global. Along with the 92 Olympics and the Dream Team, the world got a chance to see the greatness of Michael Jordan. One of my favorite moments when they do the documentary and they show and they do anything about the 92, the Dream Team, when he's walking and he sees that big billboard of him, the Nike billboard of him, that's where it had gotten for Michael. That's where he had took the game. So everybody in the world knew that who he was, and he did a lot to transform and bring the game of basketball forward. Like, it was a known fact that Michael Jordan wore his North Carolina shorts underneath his Chicago Bulls shorts. And he had requested that could he have his shorts made, I think it was 1.5 inches longer, so as to cover up the North Carolina shorts. you know, hence in part, it went universal throughout the league. You know, everybody shorts became longer. No. But that was because Jordan had started it, you know, with that. The success of his tennis shoes. And because he was the greatest player, and he was a great player, you know, is the reason why LeBron has a lifetime contract with Nike. Right? Air Jordans fail or do not exceed expectation. Everybody gets the regular shoe deal, you know, everything else. And that's all because of him and his greatness. You know, that, you know, players get the contracts that they do. You know, stuff like that. You know, that's the influence that he had in the game of basketball. You know, he I'm gonna like this is gonna be a 2-part series. I'm gonna talk more about my personal feelings and little tidbits of my biggest difference. Right. Like I already said, LeBron is the greatest player of this era. Michael Jordan is the greatest ever. He is the GOAT. Everybody said, why you saying? Why you saying? Like, some of the accomplishments that Jordan accomplished, right, are kind of unreachable. Are kind of unreachable in today's NBA. Like I would say like this. Jordan has 10 scoring titles. 10 scoring titles. And a lot of people debate that, oh, LeBron's not a scorer, he's not a scorer. And no, he's not really a scorer. He's more of a facilitator. I would say he's more of a Scottie Pippen, Magic Johnson type of a player than more of a Michael Jordan type of a player. Whereas that Jordan understood one thing. At the end of the game, it was who had more points, not who had the most assists or if, you know, who had the most rebounds or, you know, stuff like that. He knew at the end of the game, it was about what team had the most points at the end of the game. So his mind focus was, right, we have to score more points than the other team in order to win. However we do that, you know, we do. You know, and I would say for the most part, when Phil Jackson took over the team, that only under certain circumstances, under pressure situation, most of the time, when Phil came into the head coaching position in Chicago, he turned around here and he asked Michael to turn around here and he said, listen, this is it's not about just you. It's about the team. Let's get the team involved so we all can win. And once he took on that philosophy, yeah, he still led the league in scoring. He still did all that type of stuff, but then it became more of a team. And once he turned around here and like he knew what was going on the court. He knew what was going on the court. He knew who was open, when, and where, all that type of stuff. And like I said, Phil Jackson said one time, he said, who's open? He said, Paxson. That's when he started giving Paxton the ball. Because he was saying, well, listen, instead of you trying to fight through a double and triple team, pass it to Paxton. No. It wasn't that he didn't want to do it, but it was just the personal challenge within himself. He knew he had teammates out there. He knew all of the other stuff, but it was like because his competitiveness, his drive to win at all costs, just drove him to so where a lot of times it wasn't that he didn't want to pass the ball. It's just that I'm just proving that I'm just trying to prove that I'm the best. People and during Jordan's era, there was a fear respect factor with Jordan. It was like, don't trash talk Jordan. Play the game. Whatever happens after the end of the game, good game, move on. Right? Nobody feared, has like that fear of LeBron like that. Like, you could talk to trash, whatever, and everything else, and he might end up with points and assists and rebounds and all that type of stuff. But that was just LeBron just being in the flow of the game. Is not him like taking it personal, like, oh, you really gonna try to say some stuff to me, but nobody really like had that like fear of LeBron, like Jordan did. It was like guys to the right here, like when they would face the Bulls, they said, oh man, I gotta guard Jordan tonight. I hope he don't go. I hope he just go like 30 points. That's how players were feeling. Like, I just hope he scored 30 points. You know what I'm saying? Everything goes. Well, I'm gonna guard him. I'm gonna do. What I'm saying, I'm gonna play him, but I'm just saying I'm just hope that he don't have that good game on me where they don't have that with LeBron. Just like LeBron's like, they turn around here, they just say, okay, it's almost like a point like they say, we'll let LeBron do LeBron. He'll do whatever. We're just going to try to stop everybody else. So we don't care about how many points or assists you get or whatever, rebound, whatever. We don't care about that. We just going to let, just try to stop everybody else because we know that you by yourself are not going to be really the deciding factor, which, in a lot of sense, has been wrong because when a lot of times when teams have done that, LeBron has turned around here and has shown up sometimes. And I have to go to sometimes. With Mike, there was no excuses. Once Mike got on top in 91, right, besides the 18-month hiatus to play baseball, Mike was right there. There was no dip. There was no dip. From here to here, right, from 91, 92, 93, 96, 97, 98, no dip in this man's game. No dip, right? At age 35, playing all 82 games, including playoffs, including finals, everything else. I mean, just going at it. I call from 2010, 2011 season to the 2017, 18 season. I'm gonna call that prime LeBron James. Okay, we're gonna just say we're not gonna count the first 7 years in Cleveland. that finals trip in, I think it was 2007. Uh, that there was no chance you was going to beat a prime San Antonio team at that point. That wasn't going to happen. Um, and this is the reason why a lot of times I say we give LeBron a pass for too much. Like, for instance, we give him a pass for the 2007 finals. Okay? But we give him a pass in 2015 finals because it was just him by himself. You got Love out, you got Kyrie out, and everything. But he still took him to 6 games. All the type of stuff, which is good, But in those prime 8 years, right? You go to 8 straight finals, right? You win 3. You team up. This is where I really, my greatest debate it gets shaky. You team up with 2 other players. You team up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. This is nothing that the general manager, Pat Riley, at the time, or I think he still is, that he did. There's nothing that he actually did that influenced that whole deal. Everybody knows, NBA knows, they know, they'll never probably come out and actually say it, that yeah, they planned it and everything goes. And I remember a quote, him saying, when they did it and all that type of stuff, this is going to become one of the great dynasties and all this type of stuff. We're going to win, maybe 4, 5, 6 championships and all that type of stuff. And the first year you go to the finals with Miami, you lose, right? You get outplayed, you get outshone, and everything goes. You turn around here, you didn't show up. You had the team that you wanted. Show up. You didn't show up. You got played by Jason Terry and Dirk Nowitzki. Right. Next year, you face a young Oklahoma City team. I believe James Harden was still on the team at the time. James Harden, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant. These guys are, and the tripped up part about it was the only reason why I think they played San Antonio in that Western Conference Finals was because the only way you beat San Antonio was to run and gun. Because San Antonio was such a fundamentally sound team that half-court set basketball, they'll kill you. And if they was able to force you into playing like that, oh my goodness, it's over. But if you run and gun, you don't let them get set on offense. You don't let them get set. You don't. Oh my goodness. And that's what they did. That's what Oklahoma City did. That's what they did. They ran again. They run and gun. They just run and gun. And that's how they got into the finals. So, of course, with a more experienced team in Miami, you were supposed to win that finals, right? The following year, you barely win that finals against San Antonio. But then you play the same team the next year, and you get outplayed by Kawhi Leonard. Like I said, we give a pass for the 2015, 2016. You improve your legacy by coming back to Cleveland and winning a championship. You improve your legacy, right? You improve your legacy. You have basically made up with the city of Cleveland. because you've given us our lone championship after 54 years or something like that. No. So we're, no. So, but that following year, you get outplayed by Kevin Durant. Because Kevin Durant turns around here, he leaves Oklahoma City to go play and go to state. So you get outplayed by Kevin Durant. Then the organization here in Cleveland does a whole bunch of trades and all that stuff, basically gives you a bunch of young guys who really don't know what the heck is going on as far as the game of basketball, right? Which leaves you with LeBron, Kevin Love, and Tristan Thompson, the only three players on the team that were from the original, that's from the championship team 2 years before, and none of these guys have a clue, right? None of these guys have a clue, and only thing that bothered me, because I was at that game. I was at that last finals game here in Cleveland, game 4. I'm about to get swept, and about maybe, I think it was 3-4 minutes left to go in the game. Game is totally out of reach, and they sit LeBron down. Whole stadium stands up, gives him a standing ovation, and I'm just sitting up there thinking. Only thing I'm thinking in my mind is, had that been Jordan, there was no way you could take him off that court. There was no way. I don't care if he's down 3-0, he's fighting until the clock reads 0-0. That's how great of a player. That's how competitive of a player that he was. He didn't want to come off that court until the clock says 0-0. No. And the only reason why we really stood there, because we probably knew he was leaving anyway after the season, and I will go into a whole nother video about why I think he left Cleveland. But it was just, we've seen LeBron basically give up. We've seen him where it was like for instance, right before the cap, before he made the decision to go to South Beach and take his talents to South Beach, the series against Boston, it was like he gave up. You can see just in his demeanor as he walked off the court and took off his jersey and everything else, like he just gave up, and that to me is what defines greatness, is that, nobody can say anything about you when it comes down to the game. There's too many players that can say, I one-upped LeBron. Too many players. Like I said, Jason Terry, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, Paul Pierce, there's a lot of guys that, like for instance, Jason Terry is not going to be in the Hall of Fame or anything like that, but for instance, he played a better series in that finals with Dallas than LeBron did. There is nobody that in the NBA that can say they one up Jordan, right? Maybe Washington Wizards Jordan, Chicago Bulls Jordan. No, you might have got him in the first game, but believe me, he got the last laugh. He got the last laugh. And he did it in ultimate fashion, because he gonna make sure that he gonna humiliate you. He gonna humiliate you, and nobody can say, there are guys in the Hall of Fame right now that are sitting back going, I couldn't get past him. I couldn't beat him. You know, there's a list of guys. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that was on the New York Knicks teams, you know, you gotta look at guys like, Patrick Ewing, even though Reggie Miller did finally get to the finals, like later on, but there was no way that you were gonna beat Kobe and Shaq and all of that. You weren't gonna do that. You weren't gonna do that. Reggie Miller, Karl Malone, John Stockton. You know what I'm saying? A whole list of guys. I think it was like, it's something like 20 players that are in the Hall of Fame that don't have a ring because of Jordan. Because of Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Right. I've always made the phrase that when Jordan got on top, nobody ate unless you were invited to the table. And in the Bronze era, everybody is eating off your plate. Everybody is eating off your plate. And I can't say that you're the greatest. Like, LeBron fans get mad when I said, you have a losing record in the finals. You do. My sons asked me one time, he said, they said, Dad, what made 6 rings? So, why did everybody keep talking about the 6 rings with Jordan? Why does everybody keep talking about the 6 rings? And I told him, because it's perfect. Everybody before him, you got to understand that, before Jordan, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were the standard. Okay? All of them have been to the finals. All of them have won. They're NBA champions, but they also lost in the finals. They've lost. So when you look at it, he went 6 straight times and won 6 straight. It wasn't one here, skipped a year, one, no, this was 6 straight. Every trip to the finals was a win. Because everybody else had lost. And at that point, up until, then when you go into, after that, because, the Lakers became, I think the 4th team in, to be due 3-peat. But, that's something that, had not been done unless you're talking about Bill Russell, in his 11 championships. And like I said, players like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I always say they're in a separate category. That you don't even, when you even name greatest players, they're like in a special book that we don't even put them in there because that's a whole special book by itself. As far as the influence and that's what made it so special. That's why, everybody, you talking about some, the one thing that LeBron has is that, which makes him a very great player of this generation, is that he's taken 3 teams to the finals and won with 3 different teams. But also, you gotta understand, this is nothing of an organizational doing. He's had input on what players that he wants to play with. Case in point, what I'm saying? Him, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh all decided to play together. It It wasn't nothing that Pat Riley did to turn right here to to steal him away from Cleveland to come down to Miami. No, it was not like a because here's the thing. Here's the thing, and the reason why I say that is because you know actually he took a pay cut to do that. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't able really to get the real max money, the real money that he really could have made if he would have stayed here in Cleveland. That's the reason why I say it's not like how a Orlando and LA deal was with Shaq. Shaq left Orlando to go to LA over $3 million. Same length of time um, contract, but a $3 million difference. You know, and then plus I ain't gonna lie, if you take Orlando, LA, I think most players would probably choose LA, you know, than Orlando, you know. But it wasn't that type of a situation where the organization lured, lured LeBron away from Cleveland, and then when he came back, he said the first thing and everything else is I want to play with Kevin Love. So they traded away the number one draft pick that they just drafted away to get Kevin Love, you know. And then what Magic Johnson was trying to do, because, like I said, because now I'm gonna show you how this works out. Because and to show you how the NBA knew that LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh they planned that thing to go to Miami was Chris Paul was playing in New Orleans. Said, I want out of New Orleans. I want to go play in LA. I want to go play with Kobe. I want to go play in LA. The league stopped the trade. Said, no, we're not going to allow that to happen. No. And they were trying to get into the thing of we're not going to allow players to choose where they go. But because LeBron had already kind of started the snowball rolling, it has developed into what it is now, and that, unless you draft a player and hopefully he does become a superstar, and then hopefully then you can get him to be able to attract superstar players, your team's going to be in the gutter. Period. Because if you don't, then if I'm the best player in your team, either you pay me my money or I'm going to go play with LeBron, or I'm going to play with Durant, or I'm going to go play with Steph Curry. I'm going to go play there. That is the influence that LeBron has had on the game. Where I'm going to give you a case in point. When Jordan was playing, players wanted to be the Jordan of their team. That leader, that guy that I'm with this team.